Okay, so last class we have learned about metabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. So phenylalanine, the main metabolic pathway is its conversion to tyrosine. So phenylalanine, what is the chemical name for it? Alpha amino beta phenyl propionic acid. What is tyrosine? Alpha amino beta para-hydroxyphenyl propionic acid or hydroxyphenyl propionic acid. So only one hydroxyl group is different, is the difference. So while phenylalanine is an essential aromatic amino acid, both glucogenic and ketogenic, and is a precursor of tyrosine. Tyrosine is not an essential amino acid because it is synthesized from phenylalanine. That you should remember. So if adequate tyrosine is supplied in the food, the need of phenylalanine becomes minimal. So the main pathway or the only function of phenylalanine is to form tyrosine. The enzyme is phenylalanine hydroxylase. It is a mixed function oxidase. What is a mixed function oxidase? Which requires NADPH plus H and oxygen molecule. One oxygen atom is incorporated or removes, oxidizes NADPH plus H to NADP, and the other oxygen atom is incorporated into the substrate to bring about hydroxylation. That's how phenylalanine is converted to tyrosine. So this phenylalanine hydroxylase is here given as the one, and then tetrahydrobiopterin is the coenzyme for it. It's not directly NADPH here. It's a little different from the normal mixed function oxidases. You should remember that. Here it is tetrahydrobiopterin with a direct coenzyme. So it is oxidized to dihydrobiopterin, and this dihydrobiopterin has to be reconverted or re-reduced to tetrahydrobiopterin, and for this the coenzyme is NADPH plus H, and the deficiency of the dihydrobiopterin reductase can result in phenylketonuria or type 2 and 3, whereas synthesis of tetrabiopterin itself can be deficient, that is the 4th and 5th types of phenylketonuria. So that's what it is. Defect in phenylalanine hydroxylase results in hyperphenylalanemia type 1 or classical phenylketonuria. Defects in dihydrobiopterin reductase result in type 2 and type 3 hyperphenylalaniemias, or can also be called as phenylketonuria, while defects in the synthesis of dihydrobiopterin in hyperphenylalaniemias 4 and 5. So that is. So the tyrosine is not formed when phenylalanine hydroxylase deficiency is there. So as a result, it will be transaminated to phenylpyruvic acid. And this is a keto acid, and this phenylpyruvic acid can be converted to phenyl acetic acid. So both of them are keto acids. So that's why, because they are produced in excessive quantity and they are excreted in urine, of course mainly as phenyl acetyl glutamine, the conjugated product which is excreted in the urine. This is called as phenylketonuria, phenylpyruvate and phenylacetate. And this phenylacetyl glutamine is the one that is responsible for the mousy odor of the urine, excreted as phenylacetyl glutamine, which is responsible for the mousy odor of urine, the characteristic feature of the phenylketonuria. So the treatment consists of only a diet low in phenylalanine that will prevent the mental retardation. That's what you should remember. So it should be identified early, the condition, and then phenylalanine must be stopped from the diet. So they may have to be given those foods where the phenylalanine is lacking, or the amino acid hydrolysates will have to be given, which becomes expensive. So coming to the tyrosine, as I told you, only difference between that and this is hydroxy. So alpha amino beta hydroxyphenyl propionic acid is tyrosine. So it becomes non-essential because it is synthesized from phenylalanine. It is an aromatic amino acid. It is both glucogenic and ketogenic, and its degradation produces fumarate and acetoacetate. So the important products that are formed from tyrosine are catecholamines, thyroid hormones, and melanin. So metabolism involves 5 steps. In step 1, it undergoes transamination to form hydroxyphenyl pyruvic acid. So transamination. So here the transamination results in removal of this amino group. So oxidation, ferrohydroxyphenyl pyruvic acid is formed. So this tyrosine transaminase deficiency can result in inherited disorder, that is type 2 tyrosinemia. Whereas, so what is produced the phenyl pyruvic acid? This phenyl acid is acted by an oxidase, which is copper dependent. So this is not just a simple oxidation. So here there is mole of carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation is there, and shifting of this side chain from here to here, and then hydroxylation takes place. So three steps, three changes take place or brought about by this enzyme para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate oxidase or hydroxylase. So hydroxylation occurs. So this is homogentic acid. This homogentic acid is acted upon by homogentic acid. So the deficiency of this enzyme will result in neonatal tyrosinemia. The homogentic oxidase converts homogentic acid to mallyl acetoacetate, brings about oxidative scission here, so thereby oxidizing these two carbons. So CO is formed. That is what is formed in mallyl acetoacetate. The deficiency of this enzyme will result in alkoptonuria. This urine becomes dark and standing, and this will polymerize. This will convert to benzoquinone, and then it will polymerize, forming deposits that will be deposited in the joints, connective tissues. So when it is collected in the joints, it leads to what is called ochronosis. So this mallyl acetoacetate is acted upon by isomerase. This is the only enzyme the deficiency of which will not occur. So fumarate acetoacetate is acted upon by fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase, which converts it or hydrolyzes it to fumarate and acetoacetate. The deficiency of this enzyme causes tyrosinemia type 1. So transamination by transaminase, para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate oxidase converts it to homogentic acid. Homogentic acid oxidase converts it to mallyl acetoacetate, brings about oxidative scission, and isomerase converts it to fumarate acetoacetate, and fumarate acetoacetate hydrolyzes it to fumarate and acetoacetate. There is the catabolism. So all the enzymes in the metabolic pathway of tyrosine except mallyl acetoacetate cis-trans isomerase can be defective, causing metabolic disorders. So defective tyrosine transaminase causes tyrosinemia type 2, Richner-Reinhardt syndrome. Para-hydroxyphenyl pyruvate oxidase deficiency leads to neonatal tyrosinemia, whereas homogentic oxidase deficiency leads to alkoptonuria, in which urine darkens and standing due to oxidation. Late in disease, there is arthritis and pigmentation of connective tissue, ochronosis, due to oxidation of homogentate to benzoquinone acetate, which polymerizes and binds to the tissue. So fumarate acetoacetate hydrolase deficiency leads to tyrosinase or tyrosinemia type 1. In tyrosinemia and neonatal tyrosinemia, alternate metabolites like tyramine or para-hydroxyphenyl propionic acid can be formed that can be metabolized to cresol or phenol on demethylation, which will be excreted. In your untreated acute and chronic tyrosinosis leads to death from liver failure very early. Therapy involves a diet low in phenylalanine and diet. Specialized products formed are, as you have learned already, catecholamines, thyroid hormones, and melanin. Catecholamines including epinephrine, norepinephrine, and dopamine are synthesized from tyrosine. Epinephrine and norepinephrine are the hormones produced by adrenal medulla, and dopamine it's also a neurotransmitter produced in the central nervous system, released at axon terminals of adrenergic sympathetic nerve fibers. So dopamine is produced in nerve terminals, particularly in hypothalamus and diencephalin. Synthesis of epinephrine from tyrosine requires 4 sequential steps. You have seen that. So tyrosine hydroxylase, which is similar to phenylalanine hydroxylase, a tetrahydrobiopterin and NADPH dependent enzyme that converts it to DOPA. So another dihydroxyphenylalanine. So another hydroxylation takes place here. So DOPA or dihydroxyphenylalanine is formed, which is acted upon by DOPA decarboxylase, a pyridoxal phosphate deficient enzyme, a dependent enzyme that converts it to, so decarboxylation is brought about. So this decarboxylation will result in CH2NH2. So DOPA decarboxylase converts it to amine, dopamine. So COOH is removed, so it is CH2NH2 is formed, dopamine. So it is a neurotransmitter. This dopamine further in the adrenal medulla can be acted upon by dopamine beta hydroxylase. So this is the alpha carbon, this is the beta carbon. So at the beta carbon there is hydroxylation. So dopamine beta hydroxylase converts dopamine to norepinephrine. and norepinephrine by phenylethanolamine N-methyl transferase. So N-methyl transferase at the methylation of nitrogen occurs. So here it is N-methylation resulting in formation of the epinephrine. So in Parkinson's disease, there is a local deficiency of dopamine synthesis. L-dopa, the precursor of dopamine, readily crosses the blood-brain barrier, but not epinephrine, and so is effective in the treatment of Parkinson's disease. So dopa decarboxylase, pyridoxal phosphate-dependent enzyme, converts dopa to dopamine. Dopamine beta-hydroxylase, which is a monooxygenase using ascorbate as an electron donor and having copper at the active site, converts it to norepinephrine. Phenylethanolamine N-methyl transferase catalyzes the methylation of norepinephrine to epinephrine. The synthesis of PNMT, that is phenylethanolamine N-methyl transferase, is induced by glucocorticoid. Degradation of catecholamines. They are inactivated by oxidative deamination by monoamine oxidase and O-methylation carried out by catechol O-methyl transferase. These two reactions can occur in either order. So, a monoamine oxidase or catecholamine first if this acts, then acts COMT. If COMT acts first, then monoamine oxidase acts, so forming 3-methoxy-4-hydroxymandelic acid or vanillyl mandelic acid or VMA. So epinephrine can be converted to metanephrine. Norepinephrine can also be converted to normetanephrine on methylation. So this is metanephrine and normetanephrine by methylation. They also can be excreted, but mainly it is the VMA, vanillyl mandelic acid. 3-methoxy-4-hydroxymandelic acid is the main product that is excreted. So in pheochromocytoma, a tumor of adrenal medulla, large amount of this VMA are excreted. In pheochromocytoma, the large amount of adrenaline secreted, so there will be uncontrolled, very severe or malignant hypertension in these cases. Synthesis of thyroid hormones. The thyroid hormones are triiodothyronine or T3 and T4, that is tetraiodothyronine. They contain iodine. So they are synthesized as part of thyroglobulin protein, synthesized by thyroid follicular cells and stored in the thyroid colloid. In the peripheral tissues, the T4 is converted to the more active T3. So the steps of synthesis of thyroid hormones consist of first concentration of iodide by a sodium-potassium dependent ATPase thyroidal iodide pump. It is stimulated. All the steps are stimulated by TSH. So thiocyanates and perchlorates compete with iodide for a uptake mechanism for this thyroidal iodide pump that is inhibited by these thiocyanates, and so these are antithyroid drugs. And second step involves oxidation of this iodide to I+ by a heme containing thyroperoxidase at the luminal surface of the thyroid follicular cell in the presence of H2O2. See this? H2. अभी 10 मिनट है. Iodination of tyrosine. The thyroperoxidase transfers the active iodine from its iodine binding site to a tyrosine residue, thyroglobulin, stimulated by again TSH. So iodination of tyrosine residue in thyroglobulin first occurs in the third position of the aromatic nucleus, forming 3-monoiodotyrosine. See this? First it occurs at the 3 position, then occurs at the 5 position. This is 3-monoiodotyrosine. This is 3'-5'-3'-dihydrotyrosine. 3'-5'-dihydrotyrosine. Now, one monoiodotyrosine can combine with a diiodotyrosine to form triiodothyronine, or two molecules of 3,5-dihydrotyrosine can combine to form tetraiodothyronine. But if it is the series, so under the influence of thyroperoxidase, two molecules of dihydrotyrosine combine to form tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine with the release of alanine. Similarly, one molecule of monoiodotyrosine and one molecule of dihydrotyrosine combine to form triiodothyronine. This you should remember. So first one monoiodotyrosine should combine with the next dihydrotyrosine. But if one molecule of dihydrotyrosine combines with one molecule of monoiodotyrosine, that is, if the order is reversed, it forms a reverse T3, which is an ineffective form of T3. So reverse T3 is a very weak agonist that is made in relatively large amounts in chronic diseases, in carbohydrate starvation, or when the hormone is not required. So approximately 20% of the tyrosine residues of thyroglobulin only are iodinated. Of this, only 8 to 10% is in the form of tetraiodothyronine, that is thyroid. TSH stimulates the synthesis of thyroglobulin and all the steps of synthesis of thyroid hormones from oxidation to coupling. So TSH activates all the enzymes. The hydrolysis of thyroglobulin. So when it is required, this thyroglobulin is hydrolyzed, liberates monoiodotyrosine, and diiodotyrosine is formed. Deiodinase present in the thyroid cells rapidly deiodinates the iodotyrosines. So what is left off without forming tetraiodothyronine and triiodothyronine, only mono and diiodotyrosines, whatever they remain, they will be hydrolyzed by this iodinase, deiodinase, and then this iodine is recycled to form thyroid gland, thyroid hormone synthesis again. T3 and T4 are transported in the plasma. So once these T3, T4 are released, they are transported into the plasma, bound to thyroxine binding globulin and thyroxine binding prealbumin. When they are saturated, the hormones can be bound to serum albumin also. So now a part of it, very small amount, 0.05% of the circulating thyroxine is in the free form, which is the metabolically active form. So about 80% of the circulating T4 is converted to T3 or reverse T3 in the peripheral cells. T3 is 10 times more active than T4, whereas reverse T3 is the inactive form. The synthesis of melanin. Melanin is a pigment that occurs in the skin, hair and eye. In the epidermis, the pigment forming cells are called melanocytes. Melanin protects the underlying cells from the harmful effects of sunlight, the dark pigment in our skin, underneath our skin. The first step in melanin synthesis is the hydroxylation of tyrosine catalyzed by a copper-containing enzyme tyrosinase, which is similar to phenylalanine hydroxylase. There is a mixed function oxidase. So tyrosine is converted to dopa by dihydrobiopterin, tetrahydrobiopterin, and NADPH dependent enzyme. So dopa is formed. Dopa is then converted, is acted again by same tyrosinase to form dopaquinone, which is then through a number 3 of steps forms indolquinone and then polymerizes to form melanin. Generalized deficiency of tyrosinase in melanocytes leads to albinism, while localized deficiency leads to leukoderma. Graying of hair is due to disappearance of melanocytes from hair roots. That's what we see in the elderly people and some youngsters also, of course. Malignant melanoma is the condition due to multiplication of these melanoblasts. Melanogen may be excreted in urine, which when kept in a test tube becomes black due to oxidation. Just a minute, we will go to the metabolism of tryptophan. So we'll go to the metabolism of tryptophan now. The next aromatic amino acid, as you know. So it is, abbreviation I forgot to tell you about, the tyrosine. What is the 3-letter abbreviation for tyrosine? TYR. But a single letter abbreviation, so Y is the single letter abbreviation for tyrosine. For phenylalanine, F is the single letter abbreviation and PHE is the, so now I think we will not be disturbed for next 20 minutes at least, I hope. So single letter abbreviation for tryptophan is W, that's what you should remember. For phenylalanine, F. For tyrosine, Y. Single 3-letter abbreviation for phenylalanine the first 3 letters, for tyrosine the first 3 letters, whereas tryptophan, here it is TRP, that's what you should remember, which is the prominent 3rd letter. So this is alpha amino beta indole propionic acid. If you remember the indole structure, so this is the indole structure, phenyl ring and heterocyclic ring. So both together form the indole ring. So alpha amino, so this is alpha amino, beta phenyl, so it is beta phenyl propionic acid. So this is propionic acid. So that's why this is alpha amino, beta phenyl propionic acid or tryptophan. So it is an essential aromatic amino acid and both glucogenic and ketogenic. The important products that can be formed from it are serotonin or 5-hydroxytryptamine, niacinamide and melatonin, hormone of pineal body. The main catabolic pathway of tryptophan is kynurenine anthranilate pathway, which leads to the formation of alanine and acetoacetyl-CoA. So because alanine is formed, it is glucogenic. Because acetoacetyl-CoA is formed, it is ketogenic. That's why it is both glucogenic and ketogenic. So its catabolism, as you learned, kynurenine anthranilate pathway. So tryptophan pyrrolase or dioxinase, a heme-dependent enzyme, an iron-dependent enzyme, tryptophan, cleaves it here. So dioxygenase, so both oxygen atoms are added here. So here CO and this also becomes CO, resulting in formation of formyl kynurenine. Formyl kynurenine is then acted upon by kynurenine formylase. So formate group. So this is the formate group is removed by one carbon, whatever it is. So formate is removed, and then kynurenine is formed. So formyl kynurenine, and removal of the formyl group, it becomes kynurenine. Kynurenine is then acted upon by a hydroxylase, so a mixed function oxidase that brings about hydroxylation of this to 3-hydroxy kynurenine. There is a 3, 1, 2, and third position. So 3-hydroxy kynurenine. So wherever the carboxyl group is there, that becomes C1. That's what you should remember. So then 3-hydroxy kynureninase or kynureninase, it cleaves the alanine from here. So this is the alanine that is cleaved, and we have got 3-hydroxy anthranilate. Now 3-hydroxy anthranilate oxidase converts it to 2-acrylyl amino fumarate. Now there can be deficiency of pyridoxal phosphate. This is this 3-hydroxy kynureninase or kynureninase is a pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzyme. If there is deficiency of pyridoxal phosphate, then this will not function. So hydroxy kynurenine is not converted to 3-hydroxy anthranilic acid, but is converted to what is called xanthurenic acid. So this is the xanthurenic acid. So the ring closure occurs here. And this xanthurenic acid has not further metabolism. It doesn't have further metabolism. So it will be excreted in the urine, so resulting in what is called xanthurenic aciduria. So xanthurenic aciduria is a manifestation of deficiency of pyridoxal phosphate. 3-hydroxyanthranilate is then converted to acetyl-CoA through a series of steps. So the subsequent steps you need not worry. So tryptophan is acted upon by pyrrolase or dioxygenase, forming formyl kynurenine. So formyl kynurenine. So formyl group is accepted by tetrahydrofolate, and then what is formed is kynurenine. And it is acted upon by kynurenine hydroxylase, forming 3-hydroxy kynurenine. 3-hydroxy kynureninase converts it to 3-hydroxy anthranilate, and 3-hydroxy anthranilate is then acted upon. This is another pathway from which this niacinamide can be formed. So at this stage, 3-hydroxy anthranilate is, instead of being converted, being acted upon by acryolyl amino fumarate or acryolyl fumarate, it will be now converted to quinolinic acid. Say this. So here 3-hydroxy kynurenine is converted to 2-acryolyl 3-amino fumarate in the normal kynurenine pathway, 3-hydroxyanthranilate pathway. But here in niacinamide synthesis, so here the pathway diverts to a little. So quinolinic acid, the niacin, and disamido, NAD and NAD. So this is the NAD and NADP are the coenzymes of niacinamide, niacin. So they are formed. So this is another pathway. So there is synthesis of niacinamide. So about 3% of the molecules of 3-hydroxyanthranilate are diverted from the main pathway to form niacin and its coenzymes NAD and NADP. So quinolinate phosphoribosyltransferase transferase is the rate limiting enzyme. 1 milligram of niacin is produced from 60 milligrams of tryptophan. This is what you should remember. 1 milligram of niacin is produced from 60 milligrams of tryptophan. So it is the one amino acid which can produce a vitamin. So normally vitamins cannot be synthesized in our body, but this is synthesized. Niacin is synthesized from tryptophan. You should remember that. And 1 milligram of niacin is produced from 60 milligrams of tryptophan. So the third important product, as you learned, is second important product that is formed is the serotonin. So one is the niacin, second is serotonin, third is melatonin. So second serotonin or 5-hydroxytryptamine. So tryptophan is acted upon by tryptophan hydroxylase, which is similar to tyrosine hydroxylase and phenylalanine hydroxylase. That is, it requires tetrahydrobiopterin and NADPH. So 5-hydroxytryptophan is formed. It is acted upon by pyridoxal phosphate dependent decarboxylase to form 5-hydroxytryptamine or serotonin. So tryptophan, you can see, I think it is 2 small letters. Tryptophan is acted upon by hydroxylase, tryptophan tetrahydrobiopterin dependent enzyme. So forming 5-hydroxytryptophan. So 5-hydroxylation occurs here. And this 5-hydroxytryptophan is acted upon by decarboxylase to form 5-hydroxytryptamine or serotonin, pyridoxal phosphate dependent. So deficiency of pyridoxal phosphate can also will not result in synthesis of serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter in brain and is an antidepressant. It increases gastrointestinal motility, plays a role in perception of pain and regulation of temperature, sleep, and BP. So this is what you should remember. It is a neurotransmitter in brain and is an antidepressant. It increases gastrointestinal, becomes a gastrointestinal hormone as well. It plays a role in perception of pain, regulation of temperature, sleep, and blood pressure. It is produced in brain, gastrointestinal cells, mast cells, and platelets, so depending upon the functions. So now it is acetylated by acetyl-CoA and acetylase to form N-acetyl-serotonin. So N-acetyl-serotonin. So this is this one. N is methylated first, and then so forming N-acetyl-serotonin is formed, and this is acted upon by methylase, S-adenosylmethionine, the methyl donor, forming N-acetyl-5-methoxyserotonin or melatonin. So serotonin, N-acetyl-serotonin, and N-acetyl is acted upon by monoamine oxidase to form 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. Of course, even tryptophan is also metabolized to 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. So serotonin catabolism involves oxidation by monoamine oxidase to form 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. Normally, only 1% tryptophan is diverted to serotonin synthesis. In carcinoid tumor, much more is directed to serotonin synthesis, resulting in excessive urinary excretion of 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. So, carcinoid tumor is detected by excessive excretion of urinary excretion of 5-hydroxy-indole acetic acid. Hartnup disease is caused by impaired intestinal and renal transport of tryptophan. So, reabsorption and absorption in the intestine and reabsorption in the renal in the kidney is impaired in this Hartnup disease, a congenital anomaly. Along with some neutral amino acids, they are not absorbed. So because of this transport defect, tryptophan and other neutral amino acids are excreted in urine and fluid. They are not absorbed into the blood, so they will be excreted in the urine and fluid. Their unavailability leads to mental retardation and ataxia. So this is Hartnup disease is associated with mental retardation and ataxia. Ataxia means difficulty in walking in a straight line. Impaired synthesis of niacin from tryptophan also causes pellagra-like symptoms, that is dermatitis, diarrhea, and dementia. So Hartnup disease is associated with these conditions. So increased excretion of tryptophan and some neutral amino acids in the urine, mental retardation, ataxia, and pellagra-like symptoms. So are characteristic of Hartnup disease, a congenital anomaly due to impaired. So coming to the metabolism of methionine. So three-letter abbreviation, the first three letters, methionine, single letter abbreviation, one letter, that is M. This is alpha amino gamma methyl thiobutyric acid. So alpha amino beta gamma methyl thiobutyric acid. So this is methionine. It is an essential glucogenic, aliphatic, sulfur-containing amino acid. Degradation of methionine results in formation of cysteine. Its catabolic pathway involves activation to S-adenosylmethionine. So first, methionine adenosyl transferase. So methionine plus ATP forms S-adenosylmethionine. See the linkage? So this is CH2. So here these are removed as organic phosphate and pyrophosphate, and the linkage of S occurs here. CH2 S. So this is S-adenosylmethionine. And is a very important compound, as we have seen already in many reactions. The labile methyl group of S-adenosylmethionine can be transferred to many acceptors to form the corresponding products in the presence of specific enzymes to form S-adenosyl homocysteine. So norepinephrine, we have seen already, it is on methylation, it is converted to epinephrine. So norepinephrine, we have seen is metanephrine, metanorepinephrine, and epinephrine is converted to metanephrine. Gonadotropin is converted to creatine. Ethanolamine is converted to choline. Serine is converted to choline. Acetylserotonin is converted to melatonin. Carnosine, you have not learned this. So these are the peptides in the muscle, a copper chelating protein, carnosine, it is converted to anserine. So carnosine, anserine, copper chelating enzymes, peptides. So these important compounds are found by methylation: epinephrine, creatine, choline, melatonin, and serine. They are all formed from methylation of the different acceptors. So now S-adenosyl homocysteine is then hydrolyzed to homocysteine. Homocysteine condenses with serine in the presence of pyridoxal phosphate dependent cystathionine synthase to form cystathionine. So methionine, S-adenosyl methionine. So then methyl group is taken up by an acceptor to form S-adenosyl homocysteine. S-adenosyl homocysteine hydrolyzes the adenosyl group to form homocysteine. And this homocysteine combines with serine in the presence of a pyridoxal phosphate dependent cystathionine synthase enzyme. So the whole molecule is incorporated into this OH group here. So it forms cystathionine. And then cystathioninase, again a pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzyme, cleaves it to cysteine and serine, that is converted to alpha keto. Cysteine and homoserine is converted to alpha keto butyrate, which is then converted to propionyl CoA. So that's why this is glucogenic. So the deficiency of pyridoxal phosphate will result in cystathionuria and homocystinuria. So both these enzymes, they require pyridoxal phosphate, and that's why even if it is formed, the next one cannot be formed. So S-adenosyl homocysteine, when it is converted to it also can be converted to S-adenosyl methionine back again in the presence of a methyl carbamide. So that's what you should see here. Homocysteine. So this methyl tetrahydrofolate accepts the methyl group from methyl cobalamin, and this methyl group then is transferred to cobalamin to form S-adenosyl homocysteine to form methionine, and then tetrahydrofolate is formed. So if there is deficiency of vitamin B12, the methyl tetrahydrofolate will not be metabolized, and the only reaction that it can catalyze is this reaction, methionine synthase. If there is B12 deficiently, this methyl tetrahydrofolate will be trapped, and that will be and also will be trapped. This will be folate will be trapped and resulting in folate trap. That is because, again, the little problem here, you should understand this. So this formyl tetrahydrofolate, methinyl tetrahydrofolate can be converted to methinyl tetrahydrofolate. These are all reversible reactions. But once methylene tetrahydrofolate is converted to methyl tetrahydrofolate, this is an irreversible step. Now this is only metabolic pathway that it can undergo is conversion of homocysteine to methionine in the presence of vitamin B12. If there is vitamin B12 deficient, then this reaction cannot take place and methyl tetrahydrofolate will be trapped. So deficiency of vitamin folate trap. Conversion of methylene tetrahydrofolate to methyl tetrahydrofolate is irreversible, and the only fate of methyl tetrahydrofolate is to donate its methyl group to B12 to form methyl carbamide. So you have seen that pyridoxal phosphate deficiency will result in cystathionuria and homocystinuria, and this homocystinuria is a very problematic. So homocystinuria can occur due to deficiency of all of them: cystathionine synthase or cystathioninase, or pyridoxal phosphate deficiency, or vitamin B12 coenzyme, that is methyl carbamide, vitamin B12 deficiency resulting in deficiency of its coenzyme form methyl carbamide. So what is the other coenzyme form of vitamin B12? 5-deoxyadenosyl carbamide, that you should remember. So here methyl carbamide formation is impaired, and whereas there also can be methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase that converts it to methyl tetrahydrofolate. So the deficiency of any of them will result in homocystinuria. So these are inborn errors of metabolism. All of them are autosomal recessive conditions. Normal homocysteine level in blood is 5 to 15 micromoles per liter. It may be increased by 50 to 100 times and is excreted in urine in these conditions. And this increased level of homocysteine in blood increases the risk of coronary artery disease. That's why it is a problem. Homocysteine interacts with lysyl residues of collagen and bind to fibrillin, its protein, causing endothelial dysfunction. There may be episodes of thromboembolic phenomena due to activation of Hageman's factor, the blood clotting factor 12, leading to platelet adhesiveness and thrombosis. Exact cause of subluxation of lens in this condition is not known. So there is also subluxation of lens, the eye lens, the optic lens, and the cause is not known. So providing adequate quantities of pyridoxine, folic acid, and vitamin B12 will keep homocysteine at normal level. So that is about the metabolism of these specific amino acids. Then amino acidopathies, inherited disorders associated with them. Most of them you already learned. Just it will be a revision now. You can see. Amino acidopathies means inherited defects in the catabolism of intermediates of amino acid metabolism due to deficiency of specific enzyme. They are called amino acidopathies. They may cause organic acidemias, hyperammonemias, or only neurological signs. So these three types of amino acidopathies can be seen, or manifestations can be seen as a result of amino acidopathy. That is inherited defects of a specific enzyme that participates in the catabolism of that particular amino acid. So deficiency of any of the enzymes can result in amino acidopathies, inherited disorders. So the organic acidemias, alpha keto isocaproic acidemia, alpha keto isovaleric acidemia, and alpha keto beta methyl valeric acidemia result from defective catabolism of branch chain alpha keto acids due to the deficiency of branch chain alpha keto acid dehydrogenase. See here, the branch chain amino acids are leucine. Its chemical name is alpha amino isocaproic acid. So it is on transamination forms alpha keto isocaproic acid. So alpha amino is replaced by keto. That's why amino group is to be replaced. So transamination will result in formation of isocaproic acid. So transamination is not defective. Whereas valine alpha amino isovaleric acid is converted to alpha keto isovaleric acid. Whereas leucine, isoleucine is alpha amino beta methyl valeric acid. So it is converted to alpha keto beta methyl valeric acid. Now these are to be acted upon by transamin. These are to be acted upon by these keto acids are then acted upon by alpha keto acid dehydrogenase, similar to pyruvate dehydrogenase and alpha keto glutarate dehydrogenase. Same 5 coenzymes are necessary, same decarboxylation is brought about, and coenzyme A derivatives are formed. So whereas the deficiency of this will lead to the accumulation of these alpha keto acids as well as their precursors in the blood and their excretion in the urine. So leucine, valine, isoleucine, these are the branch chain amino acids. On transamination, they form their respective keto acids, and these keto acids are then acted upon by oxidative decarboxylation, that is dehydrogenase, or all, which will result in the products. The deficiency of this enzyme will result in a condition called maple syrup urine. This is because their urine smells of burnt sugar. So during the neonatal period, these disorders may produce severe illness with a rapid deterioration associated with metabolic acidosis and neurological impairment. Plasma and urinary levels of branch chain amino acids and alpha keto acids are elevated, giving the urine a smell of burnt sugar or maple syrup. The condition is called maple syrup urine disease. Acidosis and neurological impairment may produce severe illness with a rapid deterioration with a neutropenia, thrombocytopenia, and dehydration, mimicking sepsis. It appears as if it may be diagnosed as sepsis, but we have to be aware of this condition, maple syrup urine disease, so which also can produce similar symptoms, and then we can diagnose the condition. Associated hyperammonemia also will be there, may occur due to inhibition of mitochondrial carbonyl phosphate synthase by these organic acids. So they act as competitive inhibitors. They are inhibitors, and that's why there can be associated hyperammonemia. I think we'll continue in the next class. I thought we'll finish it off and then have a test in the next class, but I think time doesn't permit. So you can be prepared for the test. If there is time, then I will give you some questions. You can answer that. Okay. Okay, good day then. We'll continue in the next class. Next Friday. Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.